Welcome back. Cardano is now at a boiling point with one top Cardano engineer saying it's an effing joke of a blockchain. We're going to be discussing all of that in today's video. We're going to be going through a lot of tweets, a lot of X conversations, and kind of my view on this whole situation. Effectively, the developers of the ecosystem are essentially pretty upset with where the development of the overall ecosystem is at, right? There's a lot of technologies out here, a lot of other blockchains that are surpassing Cardano's capabilities uh, very, very rapidly. And as I've explained for the last 6 months or 8 months or so, from an investability standpoint, it's very hard to see how Cardano is going to be able to maintain its top 10 position this cycle with all the other newer blockchains that have popped up with more technology than not only just Cardano, but more technology than XRP, more technology than Binance Chain, and even more technology than Ethereum. Think about these new generation blockchains that are popping up everywhere. These new blockchains, they don't need layer twos or layer threes. And this is why we see a lot of money flowing into Solana because it's a newer generation ecosystem. We see a lot of money flowing into newer blockchains a little bit outside of the top 10, but chains like Polygon, Internet Computer, Near Protocol, Aptos, and the like. These are newer blockchains that have already solved many of the problems that a lot of these legacy chains are trying to solve. And some ecosystems, like Cardano, for instance, in this case of what we're going to be talking about in today's video, Cardano is literally years behind many other chains in terms of not only implementation but integration. And every time there is a delay for any kind of technology within any of these ecosystems, but today we're talking about Cardano, that backs up every other development milestone for a lot of other projects because maybe I'm a project that's waiting for liquidity to enter the ecosystem through stable coins, and because then we can start doing lending and borrowing products. But we can't do that because there is no stable coin on Cardano, there is no liquidity, and the stable coins that we were promised were going to change the ecosystem just didn't do it. And this brings us to today's headline of DC. He is basically one of the top Cardano engineers, one of the top 3 DeFi protocols. He oversees liquid finance. He wrote on X the other day. And by the way, this is the Cryptoviser podcast. We talk about everything crypto, blockchain, and investing every single day of the year. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Give the video a free thumbs up. And I'm going to kind of give you guys the walkthrough of kind of the way that I view this whole situation. And we're going to also kind of go through some tweets from Charles as well and some other people in the ecosystem about, some of the things that have to do with this developer's, I don't know, frustration, I guess you could say. Anyway, he said, decentralized theater effing joke of a blockchain with zero basic infrastructure to protect users, with working oracles because of pure incompetence and clownery at the top. He said, that sounds fun to you? Come build on Cardano. Good morning. And somebody asked him in another post if he was, it sounded like he's frustrated. And he said, if you are a developer trying to protect your users' funds with the effing embarrassing state of oracles on Cardano while IO Global and Cardano Foundation conveniently ignore it, you'd be disheartened as well. And so this developer is talking specifically about oracles. And so what are oracles? Well, we're going to go to the Oracle blockchain's website, which is Chainlink. And by the way, there's more to the Chainlink Cardano story coming up in just a few minutes. But before we get there, let's understand what oracles are. Blockchain oracles are entities that connect blockchains to external systems, thereby enabling smart contracts to execute based upon inputs and outputs from the real world, right? Settling transactions in traditional finance, but doing it on the blockchain. Executing a smart contract. Like, think about it. If I own a home and I want to tokenize the home ownership, right, into, an NFT or something like that, and you need to be able to pull data from somebody's bank account or pull data from some other, API that says, yes, this person paid for the home, it's all cleared, the money's received, everything's good, you can now release the title to the home. Like, there needs to be a connection outside of the blockchain. And so that is what oracles do. And this is what Chainlink's major, technological breakthrough was when Chainlink first developed and deployed. It enabled all these other blockchain ecosystems to connect with each other. And one of the things that we've been talking about more recently with Cardano's challenges on this channel is that there is effectively zero interoperability in Cardano. Now, the Cardano, some Cardano developers and bots will say, but Cryptoviser, there are bridges, there is interoperability, but they're not interoperable bridges like Chainlink or interoperable Oracle connectors like Chainlink or like USDC, for instance. And so for liquid finance, which effectively, let's see what their thing says. It's contribute to Liquid, the first non-custodial pooled lending protocol with liquid staking built on Cardano. And so to be in the lending ecosystem, right? Like what you have to be able to understand what is going on in the traditional financial world also. You need to be able to pull call data from, different exchanges to see what the exchange rate is. And the issue with Cardano's inability to interoperate with other blockchains is that it silos Cardano's ecosystem where everything is just Cardano and you don't have the connection to other ecosystems. You don't have connection to greater and grander technologies. People in the Cardano ecosystem will say, but Cryptoviser, this is building on Cardano and that can fix that. And it's like, nope, that's fine, but that's not what people are asking for. It's the same thing with the USDC conversation. The developers and fanboys in Cardano will say, but Cryptoviser, Cardano has stable coins. We don't need USDC. And it's like, no, you don't need USDC. The liquidity ecosystem needs USDC. Cardano's technology needs USDC. For Cardano to stay in the top DeFi blockchains and top market cap blockchains, it needs USDC. This is not what Cryptoviser wants. This is just factually based on all of the data that's out there on every blockchain that has interoperability, has oracles, has USDC. So anyway, Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, actually posted this shortly thereafter. DC posted that situation about no oracles. And he said, should IO Global host an oracle workshop for Cardano dApps at Charles Hoskinson's ranch in Wyoming? Yes, no, or I'm a bot. And so DC responded and said, hey, Charles, yes, this would be a great start, but why don't we use a Catalyst, Project Catalyst, that's the funding mechanism currently that Cardano has, or the treasury funds, to simply integrate with Chainlink or Pith Network, or one of the other proven Oracle networks used by DeFi teams with USD billions in total value locked, right? Again, instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and talk about it for more years, all Cardano needs to do is interoperate. I mean, I've said it before on my videos that maybe there's a possibility that Cardano's technology right now where it is cannot interoperate, cannot integrate USDC. Maybe that is the situation, because why would they try to reinvent every aspect of the crypto ecosystem? Like if you're running a business, right? Let's say you are running a restaurant and you need to buy equipment. Let's say you need to buy one of those big mixers to make dough. And you say, you know what? I'm gonna make a better one. And you spend 5 years making a better one in your restaurant. And meanwhile, you made no money because you didn't just buy the one that's already invented and already created and works perfectly fine to create whatever you want to make in the mixer and make money in your restaurant. That's not how you run a business. But that's the way that Cardano is doing things. No, we don't need oracles. We can do it ourselves. We don't need bridges from other ecosystems. We can do it ourselves. We don't need USDC or Tether. We can do it ourselves. And I'm not saying they can, but why can't it be both? Why does it have to be binary? And same thing kind of goes here. Now, another person, so by the way, Pith Network is the largest party of Oracle networks, 100 plus data providers, 470 plus price feeds, 300 plus integrated dApps, and 50 plus chains. So obviously, if Cardano was to integrate with Pith Network, which I think would be guys, this is an opportunity for Cardano. And maybe this is like Charles and the IO Global team playing it like, we're like tough, like, no, we're going to keep doing it this way. And then eventually this could be the most bullish thing for Cardano, right? If Charles came out and said tomorrow, listen, we are putting immediate money to get Pyth and Chainlink integrated on Cardano. It's going to be done within 2 months. And we are not paying anybody until this gets done, right? That is going to motivate the developers to get the shit done. Then he comes out and says, we're going to get USDC on Cardano one way or another within 3 months. And we're going to put a lot of money into it. All of IO Global's resource, Cardano Foundation resource are going to be put into getting USDC on Cardano. Because this could be the most bullish thing for Cardano. I mean, potentially, if that were to happen, and not maybe the announcement, but the actual implementation, Cardano would shoot up, right? From a usage standpoint, liquidity standpoint, volume standpoint, and what does all of that bring? More users, more developers, more builders, more businesses, right? And then what does that do eventually for the price of the coin? It makes the value go up because the network that's underlying is more valuable because it has more connections and more technology and more options, right? It's all about the optionality. And so that's what Pyth Network is. Somebody said Cardano recently reached peak decentralization theater with the EDI, which is the Edinburgh Decentralization Index. They said, if I paid $5 million for that research, I would be asking for my money back. DC responded and said, and not a single working effing Oracle. Amazing. Somebody else asked that there was an announcement a few years back, 3 years, well, actually it's 4 years ago. It was 3 years ago. It was in 2021. There was an announcement about Cardano implementing Chainlink. And it's still not implemented, right? And this was in 2020. Charles posted this. He said, you know how to build the best oracles in the world, build them with the company that made the world's data computable. I'm extremely excited to watch this relationship grow and the innovations that will come of it. And he's talking about Wolfram Alpha teams up with Cardano to build avant-grade oracles. And that was in 2020. So there's frustration clearly from some people in the Cardano community and the developer ecosystem. And I think that this is just kind of going into what we've talked about previously. This is about growth of Cardano. Last cycle is not this cycle. And so if Cardano is going to keep thinking about last cycle, all the technology has changed. It's developed, it's advanced. And all these other ecosystems are connecting to each other to build their ecosystem out. But Cardano doesn't want to do that. I mean, even XRP doesn't want to do that for some reason, right? And so Charles wrote this on his X. This was before DC brought up the whole Oracle situation. This was on April 7th. He said, seeing all the dunking on Cardano makes me smile a bit. We are holding all the cards as an ecosystem. We have the best path for scalability, governance, and innovation. We also have the best community. Chang, the hard fork, he says, is coming as measured by progress on Sancho Net. Ouroboros Leos is the biggest step forward towards solving the blockchain trilemma ever. Our research labs are scaling up, and we are now at 209 papers with much faster research translation. Charles continues saying, I wouldn't bet against an ecosystem with the ability to engage and unlock millions of people, has an on-chain sovereign wealth fund, and has never failed in 2,300 plus days of uptime 24/7. The problem with our industry is that short-term narratives and carnival barkers dominate the conversation. AI has the same issue. A few months ago, OpenAI dominated everything. Then Claude 3, now we got Grok, and soon Llama 3. The winners have foundations that are built to last generations and a community that respects and maintains those foundations. There's no substitution for this. Now, here's the deal. I think Charles is missing the point here. Like, I really, really do. And maybe this is because he's in the Cardano bubble, right? I mean, his life is probably mostly Cardano. But I think he's missing the point. Like, nobody's betting against Cardano. Nobody's betting, like, just because you're not holding the coin doesn't mean you're betting against the crypto. The reason I talk about Cardano on this channel, and I would imagine many others talk about Cardano, is because they see the potential, right? I've been following Cardano since it launched. And there's other ecosystems that are doing a lot more, but we see the potential in Cardano. And until this potential is reached, there's issues. I mean, when I read this, what Charles wrote, one of my team sent it to me, and I was like, he's still talking about stuff from the last cycle, right? Ouroboros Laos is the biggest step forward. Last cycle was Ouroboros this, Ouroboros that, Ouroboros this, and none of it really materialized to interoperability, smart contract usage, like increased transaction volume, not including NFTs. And what is the blockchain trilemma? That's from 2017, 2018. We're now in 2024, right? And a lot of blockchains have newer technologies. They've already solved a lot of the problems that Ethereum is facing, that Cardano is facing, that XRP is facing with scalability, with growth, with transaction throughput. And instead of seeing like Solana's continuing going down because of high throughput, even though some of it is spam, the Cardano community is not seeing that as like growth of the overall ecosystem, that there's billions of dollars of venture capital money now being re-plowed into the Solana ecosystem. And there's been billions over the last few years. And so my hope is that the technologies that are maybe being gatekept, right, from maybe a financial standpoint, maybe from a catalyst standpoint, or whatever the situation is, that we understand why there's no interoperability, why there's so much pushback against the USDC situation. Because these things, to anybody in the blockchain space, especially from an analyst or an investor standpoint, because you're not really too deep into the technical. So from an analyst and investor standpoint, just looking at those two things, no interoperability and no USDC, that right there is a huge issue. And it doesn't seem like there seems to be any pathway to get that resolved rapidly. And oracles are part of interoperability because it allows you to tap into these other chains. And so if all of these other chains have already been able to implement Chainlink, just at a base level, and Cardano said they were going to do this 3 years ago, and we're 3 years later, not only do we not have Chainlink, we have almost no interoperability. I do think that that's a problem, and I do agree with DC that it needs to be fixed, right? And by the way, I don't think DC is saying this to just call people out. I think that he's saying this because he wants this technology, and he thinks that this is going to help Cardano. And so again, I'm not saying nobody's betting against Cardano. Of course, people are betting against Cardano. There's perpetual futures contracts, right? Like futures contracts, these are people betting against Cardano. But when we're talking about people making videos or people writing on X, I believe that even the people who constantly joke about it, I think that they want to see Cardano succeed. And so this opportunity of the interoperability, the stablecoin situation, all they got to do is implement it. And I think it's going to drive all of the value of the whole ecosystem of Cardano significantly higher over the next few years. But I mean, we're already in Q2 of 2024. We're already basically at the bull market. And I don't know. Charles is asking, should they host a workshop? So if they have a workshop, we still then have to develop and implement. And it's I don't know. But I'm rooting for Cardano, not in an investor standpoint, because I don't think it's investable at this current moment, but investability versus hoping for a project to succeed. Those are two different things. And so again, the whole point of interoperability is so that all of these ecosystems can succeed together. And so clearly, if you want Cardano to have interoperability, you clearly want Cardano to succeed with all the other successful blockchains. So anyway, those are my opinions on the situation. Not everybody's going to agree with it, but I think that most of the people who watch my videos would say, Cryptoviser, that's a very level-headed kind of analysis of this whole situation about the oracles, about top engineer calling and effing theater and stuff like this. It is what it is. But I think the main point is everybody wants Cardano to get better and to succeed. and to stay in the top 10. But it can't just happen. I go back to a video that we played recently of Elon Musk saying that majority of people, like, they want things to happen in the world, right? And they want things to get better in the world, like in all different aspects. But it takes a lot of hard work, you know? Like, it takes a lot of hard work. I mean, think about the things that they're doing at SpaceX and at Tesla. And that's really, really hard work. Like, people are like, oh yeah, I want to go travel in space. It's like, well, what are you doing to like actually do that? Like, Elon is doing it. SpaceX engineers are doing it. And in crypto, they have to do it. You can talk about it, you can research, this is great, but you also have to get it done. And I think Cardano can do it. Clearly, the Cardano community is large, and I think that Cardano community is, I think, well-funded, generally speaking. There should be no barriers to get these technologies implemented. And I think most of you would agree with me. Clearly, there are going to be some Cardano maxis that say, but Cryptoviser, you're wrong. This is crazy. You're just fudding. And it's like, clearly you don't understand what this video is about, and you're missing the plot as well. So hopefully we hear some really good stuff soon, because until then, guys, I mean, it's about to be flipped by Toncoin when I'm recording this video, right? And that will be number 10 spot. And then Avalanche or Shiba Inu have to pump, and Cardano's out of the top 10 for the first time in many, many years. And that would be a shame. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to give the video a free thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think about this kind of video. I'll see you tomorrow. Invest responsibly. Do your own research. Nothing I say in this video is financial advice. I could be wrong about anything and everything that we talked about. So do your own research, and crypto on.